another edition of Hartford Community Leaders. Got a wonderful program for you today. We actually sit back, relax, join with us 1 hour of good programming. We actually tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a relative that we're on. Today we got some interesting topics to discuss. We're going to start our program off, and we're going to ask Lakia to introduce our guests on today. We're going to jump right into our subjects.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Today we have the one and only Nyakana.
Nyakana.
Okay.
You almost got it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then we have Ina McBride Sylvia.
Yes, Silva.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for coming, ladies.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
You're welcome. So, Miss Anna, in 2011 you wrote your first book.
Yes.
Can you tell us about it? For all the college students out there, listen up.
Yeah, so I did write a short handbook called The Student Survival Guide to Online College, and it is a handbook for those that are pursuing higher education online in a unconventional classroom setting. Most students these days, especially those who are parents, cannot go to a classroom and go to a typical campus. So I had written the book for those that were pursuing their degrees online, how to balance home life as well as school life, tips in there on how to save you not only time but money with your courses. And from then I actually branched out into children's books, and I released Niyah Zuri and the Pharaoh's Throne 2 years ago, and I'm happy to say it's in 5 different districts in Connecticut and working hard to get it across the United States.
Wonderful. Now,
Yes.
what inspired you to write your second book?
So Niyah Zuri and the Pharaoh's Throne, what inspired me to write this book was that I felt that there is a lack of diversity in children's books. Growing up, I could never find anyone on the cover that looked like me. And when I started a family of my own, I wanted to actually change that. Not only do the characters on my book look like me, but they sound like the kids that I grew up with. It's something that is missing and that's lacking from the classroom these days, especially for children that are not that passionate about reading. I wanted to create a more human interaction, a human connection. Once they are interested, anything can be unveiled from there. But you need to have that inspiration at first. And the cover and the characters, their names, what they sound like, where they go, were all the things that I put into this book to inspire the next generation.
Wonderful.
Thank
Quick
you.
question, is there going to be a book? Is there going to be a movie to your publication?
I would love for this to actually branch out into a educational series.
Okay.
So something that either maybe PBS, Nickelodeon, it'd be great to work with them. I know I've been contacting them, so call me back. And
Okay, call her
it'd
back.
be great to have
All right.
it as an educational resource in the classroom, especially now that a lot of classrooms have technology, right? They have the smart boards, they have the tablets, they have the laptops. Some are actually able to bring them home and sign them out. So to have an educational resource where it's a video, I do have a 2-minute book trailer, and a lot of parents who watch the trailer with their kids are saying, well, where's more of the trailer? Well, this is just a trailer. So it would be phenomenal to branch it out into some sort of interactive multimedia educational resource where the kids are continuing to time travel and go to different periods of time. And each episode could be a spotlight into that event and who they're meeting and what challenges they're helping that character overcome. It would be wonderful.
Yes, I agree with you on that. Also, are you going to do a book tour?
My focus is bringing this book into the classrooms. So not a traditional book tour in a sense, but my focus is because I'm bringing it to the classrooms. I have schools that I've been working with, and last year I did take a little bit of time off to have baby number 2, but now I'm right back at it and working hard for the rest of this school year into next year. So I have a lot of schools lined up in Hartford. I just recently did Capital Prep Harbor in Bridgeport, and I'm actually doing Capital Magna at the end of this month. And in the past I've done Metacomet Elementary, Carmen Aires, which are both in Bloomfield, and Harbor School, which is in New London, so definitely branching out. And I actually recently became a Microsoft Education guest speaker, so I'm launching my author visits virtually. So I'm coming to El Paso, Texas, I'm coming to Louisiana, I'm coming to Pennsylvania, California, so look out for this book. It's actually making its way across the nation, which is what I've been working hard to do.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have a question about your earlier career
Okay.
with your music.
Yes.
What inspired you to do music?
Oh, I was a music lover my entire life. Really born into it. My mother plays 6 different instruments. I played clarinet, classical piano, guitar, songwriting. I was always in drama club. I starred in all the musicals. You know, no one would have told me that I wasn't going to be a signed artist by the time I graduated high school. I gave myself a few years to actually pursue that. Didn't quite go the way that I wanted to, and then I decided to get myself into school. Graduated my bachelor's in business and started a family. And although I continue to write and I still play music to this day, my songwriting turned into a love of writing and wanting to leave something for my sons, leave something that would inspire children, inspire them to improve their literacy, and to have a love of reading. There's so much social media and so much television time and screen time these days. Children are starting to read less and less. Yes.
You have any passages in the book that you like to, share with some of the viewers?
Absolutely.
Some of the favorite passages.
Absolutely. So in Niyah Zuri and the Pharaoh's Throne, Niyah Zuri, who is this headstrong heroine, which a lot of people, when they think of diversity in books, they think of just racial and cultural diversity. They don't also remember about the gender diversity. And a lot of books, especially for me growing up, I couldn't find any girls that were the heroes. They were always the damsel in distress, right? The person that had the challenge that the now main character, who was always a male, had to help them rescue. So having a heroine was always something important for me. So Niyah Zuri and her best friends, Miguel and Hugo Gonzalez, in this passage I'm going to read, actually time travel back to ancient Egypt, and they interact with Prince Tut, who a lot of children don't know is only 8 or 9 years old himself. They think Prince Tut is this grown man and ruler, but that also shows a lack of what's being taught to our children, especially about African history, and to our children of African American descent. Their only history that's usually taught of them primarily is the history of slavery. They don't actually give them their real history, our ancient history. So it was very important for me in this first book, which I do plan to make into a series, for the characters to first go back to a kingdom that is in Africa. In this passage, they do go to Egypt, and Prince Tut has actually just suffered a loss. His father, the Pharaoh, has become ill and is passing away. And he is now going to become the new Pharaoh.
Okay.
He's just a child. He doesn't believe that he's ready for it, equipped for it. So now Niyah Zuri and the Gonzalez twins have to help him overcome this fear. And they have this magical, mystical map that has all of these different timelines written on it. And they're trying to convince him, listen, if you weren't an amazing Pharaoh, if you didn't bring some change into your country, into this kingdom, you wouldn't even be recognized today. We wouldn't be reading about you in our time. So in this passage, that's what's happening right now. Listen, Tut, you can do this, Miguel said, slowly walking over to the window. Yeah, bro, you're a prince. You've probably been waiting for this day your whole life, Hugo added, finally giving up on the arrowhead to join his brother's side. That's it, thought Niyah, rushing to her backpack and quickly unzipping it to find the one piece of proof Tut may believe. It is true, I have studied to lead my people, but I did not think that my father, not like this, Tut stammered, not taking his eyes off the rising sun. If you don't get it together, Tutankhamun, you will be sacrificing all of this, Niyah shouted. This is a timeline of all the important travel points in the past, present, and future, Niyah explained, pointing to the scribbled writing. Tut examined the map, straining his eyes to read the various markers on the timeline. Slowly, a new marker began to appear on the map, Egypt, 1337 BC.
Okay.
What influenced you in your writing? Did you have any people that influenced you?
One of the writers that definitely inspired me was J.K. Rowling, or still is J.K. Rowling.
Okay.
I love the Harry Potter series. I think a lot of young readers, actually young and old readers, love the series. And not only do I love the characters that she came up with, and like more of the mystical and the sci-fi and the science behind it, I appreciate her and respect her as a woman, especially since it's Women's History Month, something to highlight for the month of March. She was turned down several times, maybe several dozen times, from publishers, from people that did not think her manuscript was good enough. It was something that I encountered. Some publishers wanted me to actually change some of the core elements of my book. They wanted my heroine to be a hero. They didn't think a girl should kind of fit this role, or I got, this is a wonderful story and idea, but we kind of wanted to change X, Y, and Z, and I was only willing to change A, B, and C, so I decided to publish it independently, which is more work. You have to definitely do all of the groundwork yourself, especially when it comes to schools and administrators. So that was something that I definitely connected with J.K. Rowling, because she continued to persevere, and look at her today and look at her series and how many readers it inspired.
How important is it to have a professional, setup as far as a book concerned? Because some people, you see the books and, it's like, why did you write that book? How important is it to have all of that, all of the things that you stated in a book?
Well, see, this is where my business mind comes into play, right?
Yeah.
This is where my business background comes into play, because although they say you should never judge a book by its cover, at least interpersonally when you're meeting people, readers judge books by their cover. They're going to pick up and look at it. They're going to look at the front. They're going to look at the back. They're going to flip through it. They're going to see what's in here. You don't want typos. You definitely want everything to be done accordingly. So however much time that you're able to put into your work, into your passion, whether it's writing, music, multimedia, whatever it is that you're pursuing, if you're not going to go through every and fine tune it and make sure that things are done to a certain level, then you're only going to get that book so far. And I knew that this could really make such an impact in the lives of our children. I had to make sure that it was done the right way.
That's right.
So pulling in experts, I knew that I didn't know everything, all right, about the literary world. So pulling in experts, pulling in an editor, pulling in an animator, pulling in an illustrator. There's no way I was going to be able to sketch these characters myself. I have to cut myself some slack here. I have to figure out and pull in people that are also trained and professional to be able to push this past where I could, and it's good to ask for help. And if you don't have the financial resources, you go to your community, you see who you can pull in from your community to assist you with whatever it is that you're pursuing.
That's right.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself on a larger book tour. I see myself touring outside of the United States, and I see this book in every single classroom in the United States and in other countries around the world, just continuing my pursuits. I am working on the second book now. I really want this to be a series. Hopefully we can do like a 5-part book series, and I will be busy writing and working and bringing this to every student in America.
Wonderful. And I hope that your book hits the New York Times best author list.
Thank you very much.
Because they do have that, so I hope that your books will be on there as well.
It will be soon. We have to believe it to achieve it, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Not a problem.
All right, well, we thank you for being a Hartford Community Leader.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we got to do a spotlight. We have a spotlight page on our website, so we'll be able to feature you in the book.
In your book, and maybe
Wonderful.
your other publication as well.
Wonderful.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and thank you all for your work in the community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for putting me on this panel with these beautiful ladies, with this
Yeah.
beautiful sister right here. I know you introduced me, but I just want to say something to her. I am so encouraged because I am an educator. So that wasn't in there. I actually took a year off of school to finish my doctorate. So the first book you started was online learning. I'm like, so finishing my doctorate online.
Good for you.
And I took a year off of being an educator.
That's amazing.
And I see the need for this in the classroom.
Thank you.
Especially for minority children, because they are sometimes having a hard time finding that entrance point.
Yes.
To really accept and excel in the learning, because I have a very clear picture of what's going on. It's like, what is this about? This is not about me. And they have a hard time to connect. And sometimes people, even educationally, are not really well trained, and they don't have an understanding of that.
Or their resources are limited.
Or their resources are limited.
Yeah.
And so this is so important.
Thank
and
you.
I'm praying the blessing of God continue to take it forward, that it would reach everything that God wants it to reach.
Thank
because
you very much.
it really is shifting things. Amen. And sometimes we don't see it. We're like, God, but you're shifting things. And so that being said, I had to do that. I had to do that.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to hear from an educator
I
as well.
I had to do that because it's important, to stand and encourage each other, and then also to let people know, like how important what you're doing is
Thank you.
to everyone. So I definitely hope it goes nationwide.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. And what was your question?
We are uplifting each other.
Oh, yes.
It is Women's History Month.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
We're encouraging each other.
Well,
How can we reach Anna
Yes.
once again?
Yes.
Thank you. So you can reach me through my website, AnnaNyakana.com. It's ANNANYAKANA. There's a contact form on there too. If you want to just fill that out, it'll drop me an email.
all right.
Thank you,
Thank
ladies,
you.
so much.
Thank you
for
all.
coming.
Well,
Thank you for having
thank
me.
you all for tuning in to Hartford Community. Thank our guests.
Yes.
You know, it's was it Women's Month?
Women's History Month.
History Month.
Okay, just give her. We got about 2 minutes. Give her a encouraging word for women out there.
Whatever it is that you want to pursue in your life, you know that we were built to multitask. So you dust yourself off, you focus, and you get it done. You don't let anyone stand in your way. Believe in yourself first. Others
All
will
right.
follow.
All right, Ina.
Because when he birthed you into the earth, he gave you a purpose.
All right,
All right.
wonderful. And Lakia, it's your turn now.
Well, I'll just have to say, never be afraid of what you want to do. Just do it.
All
And
right.
do it with passion and love.
All right. All right. Well, you heard from the ladies. All right. I love it because we did a program with all the Women's Month.
Yes,
Yeah,
last
and
year.
Last year, and we had a great time, and I was the only man on the program.
Taking over.
Yeah, and so I was asking the questions, and they were like, how come you asked me this question? But it's great. I want to thank you all for tuning in.